trouble is, they have a fixed number of members, you see? Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can. But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away. Aha! Aren't I so lucky? Isn't that wonderful? It wasn't particularly lucky for the redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes. But, screw him. Ooh, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am the Story-Driven Gamer, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are hopping back into the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. Last time, we finished up the third case. It was really, really good. I think it may very well be my favorite case from both games. It's definitely up there. A lot was happening. There were a lot of moving parts, which did make it confusing at times. Like, there was a lot of this case I was completely lost in, admittedly, but that's alright. I find that, like, while it's satisfying to kind of, like, follow along, feel like you know what's going on and figure it out, it can be equally as engaging, maybe even more so, when you're on the edge of your seat because you don't know what's going on or you don't know what's going to happen, and then you're hit with or slapped in the face with like a plot twist or something that you didn't see coming. Stuff like that can be cool too. But this was just very engaging, and I liked the characters. I liked Mr. Drebber and Courtney Scythe a lot. And just, yeah, it was just a really strong case that delves into some of the lore too, you know, the stuff with Cosima, or the Apprentice, and Strongheart and Van Zykes, of course, the Professor, all this cool stuff that is still going to be relevant going forward, that I'm sure we still have yet to dive into. Just a couple things I want to mention, or I guess one thing really. The last few episodes were done in one evening, one recording session. There was one thing I noticed when I was editing. When it came to, there were a couple points where I got stuck, right? And the first one, which involved having to present the newspaper, I realized editing that there was a theory I kept going with, which was that, what was it, that because Asmund drew that picture that he had to have been there. But when I was editing, I realized that it was stated, I think by Drebber himself during his testimony, that Asmund drew the picture based on information that Drebber told him. And it was explicitly stated, but I missed it. Maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention. I don't know. Or I just missed it completely. So I kept saying like, Asmund had to have been there. He had to have been a witness, even well after it was stated that that wasn't the case. So, my bad if that was like, if you're like, oh come on. That also kind of messed me up because what I needed to present had to do with that information. So that kind of screwed me up. That Scythe testimony where I needed to present the picture with the blood stain, that really confused me, and I ended up getting it on my own. But both of these instances involved me picking the right information or the right clue, but for the completely wrong reason. In fact, with the Asmund picture, I not only picked the right picture, but I knew it had to do with the blood stain. But my theory as to why what the bloodstain had to do with it was wrong. So it made sense once they explained it, but that's like I would never have noticed that on my own. I got lucky a little bit there. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way. So as far as the trial itself, though, Courtney Scythe was the real killer. So she's been arrested, and at the end, Harebrained, obviously that means he's been acquitted. Van Zykes wants him to flee back to Germany because he doesn't want the Reaper the Bailey to get to him. But then at the very end, Van Zykes wanted to talk to us. And that's when the juicy stuff happened. We got two reveals. We found out who the Professor really was and who the Master Apprentice really was. So I guess we'll start with the Master Apprentice, which was Cosima. I will say, I kind of wish they left that as an absolute surprise. Like, I'm wishing Suzdro and Ryunosuke didn't recognize early on that it was Cosima or might have been Cosima. They heavily implied it, right? Which is one of the reasons why I was thinking maybe it's not. Maybe there's some kind of twist there, and there still could be. But, you know, it ended up just being Cosima. So instead of like, oh my gosh, he's still alive, what the heck? I didn't see that coming. It was kind of like, oh, cool, he is alive, yay. But, you know, they kind of already heavily implied he might be, so it wasn't a surprise. That could have been a bit more of a again, a slap in the face, like, kind of plot twist, but because I kind of had the idea that it was coming, it wasn't as impactful. But I'm sure there's more to come with him, because we kind of had our reunion, and then he left, so he'll be back and stuff. I still think there's a chance he could be... My running theory as to who the Reaper of the Bailey is, I think it could be Kazuma. His father was a serial killer, so maybe he's like a serial killer of justice. Maybe his motives are even completely different, but maybe it's like carrying on that work in his own way type of thing. And then the professor ended up being Kazuma's dad. I kind of revealed that just before, saying that the professor, you know, he'd want to not avenge the professor, he'd want to carry on his work. So yeah, I wasn't sure if we actually met the professor. I don't think we have, but yeah, it makes sense that Ryunosuke might have recognized him, because he might have seen some Kazuma in him. Or maybe since Kazuma and Suzuto were close to him, they might have met him. But I don't think we, as the player, have met him, right? Let me know in the comments if I'm just completely forgetting something. Especially if it happened in the first game. It's been a while. That's all I want to say. I know I was talking for a while. I don't know. I know we have 2 cases left. I'm sure the 5th one is going to be like the big one. In a way, this case, the 3rd case, kind of felt like it could have been a finale case. It was that impressive. I'm not sure if the 4th case is also going to be a full-on investigation and trial, or multiple investigations and trials, or if it's going to be a trial only. I know they like to interject those sometimes. We'll see. And one more thing I want to do before I jump into the game. I've been doing this for just about every chapter. I had Suzuto in her optional outfit, so we're gonna put her back in her normal one, and we're gonna switch Sholmes into his weird. He's the one who looks the weirdest. I like Ryunosuke's optional outfit too. So for those of you who maybe didn't watch from the beginning, I'm the first chapter I left them all in their regular outfits. We didn't really see much of them anyway, just Suzuto. And then starting with chapter 2, I put Ryunosuke in his optional outfit. Then obviously chapter 3, Suzuto was in her optional outfit. And now I'm putting Sholmes in his for this chapter. I thought it would be a fun thing to do. Plus you get a trophy for having them all in their outfits. So now let's begin. Episode 4, Twisted Karma and His Last Bow. That's a cool name. Yep, Bespoke Tailor. Episode, it's blocking it. Twisted Karma and His Last Bow. Oh no. I see, chapter 4 is down there.
Pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside our window.
Like a badass.
I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog, he said. Indeed, the most bizarre incident.
They're all Weasleys. They all got red hair.
A hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder. An executed man's graveyard.
Sirius Black?
In the dead of night.
Okay. That's a cool picture, by the way. The one that Asmund drew.
In a small, forgotten room at the edge of town. There is, naturally, always another side to every case, of which most remain ignorant.
Very true.
And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime, Wilson. So quickly now, take your hat and let's be on our way, my dear fellow. For our adventure is not over yet. Come, the game is afoot.
Yes. Classic Sholmes. And it would have been cool to see Sholmes and, like, Wilson, like, as a team. But we lost Wilson, like, very early on. And by very early, I mean, like, literally the first case. 8 days after that earth-shattering trial and Cosmo regaining his memory, we were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel. Look at this place! 1st of November, 1024 AM, Great Waterloo Hotel foyer. Ooh. This is a nice, luxurious hotel indeed. Professor Mikotoba is due to arrive at any moment. Ooh. Okay, so Suzuto's dad is coming for a visit. Yes, I'm so glad we got here in time. Then why are you so sad? Suzuto-san hasn't been the same since what happened. I guess with Kazuma. Not that I'm surprised. The truth about Kazuma-sama's father. Do you suppose my father knew? He knows a lot of things, apparently. That he was actually the mass murderer of the professor, you mean? Probably. I knew that's what she was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they? Yes, that's true. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that he knew that he was a serial killer just because they came down here at the same time, but you know. Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikotoba knew about Kazuma going missing in Hong Kong as well? That's right, but for some reason he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it. That probably means he knows then. Secrets upon secrets upon secrets. About Kazuma showing up here in London with amnesia, and that he's regained his memory now. You're like, what is that all about? And then again, we still have Strongheart. You know, he's the one who appointed him as Van Zyke's apprentice. Like, why? Oh, and we still have... Didn't we have, like, a collar with, like, blood all over it? That hasn't come back yet? I love how we have all these little threads. We just don't know how they connect. Ah, there he is! Oh. Father! Oh, for a moment I was looking at the guy up there. I'm like, wait, that's not her father. That's not what he looks like. Who is that guy? He looks kind of cool. Hey, Suzuto. How are you? I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you've arrived safe and sound. What are you hiding from us? Tell me! Hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here. Oh no, not at all. It's my pleasure. How do I differentiate these huge voice? Oh wait, is that the judge? Wait, hang on. I'm forgetting. Nah, I don't know. We'll find out. We've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know? The news has crossed the seas. Oh, he's the Japanese judge, right? So I'll give him the judge voice. It has? I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive with the steamship from Britain. Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much. Because I think if I remember correctly, in the first case of the game, they introduced the judge as a character and said that he was friends with Suzuto's father, right? So, it's probably him. Who is this man? And why do I feel as though I've seen him before? I take it from your expression that you can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Seishiro? Yep, that's him. Seishiro, a firm tap should do it. Yes. A firm tap? He's like punches me. Do you remember now, punk? Here we go then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, guilty AF. Guilty! Ah! No, seriously, I'm gonna kill you. You're under arrest. Ah. Oh, you're judge number 5. There he is. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I guess would this have been the only time Ryunosuke actually met him face to face? Your Excellency, I bow to thee. Hello, Judge Jigoku. How are you? It's been a long time. Ha 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 ha! Good, you remember now. That really did the trick. Do you carry that gavel with you everywhere you go, or... Guilty! Ah ha 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 ha! Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? And there was no laughing at the time. Oh, it's all in good fun. So, London again after all this time? Hard to believe it's been 10 years. You sound just like the other judge. Yeah, well, to be honest, I never thought he'd be back. Neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be invited to an internal symposium like this. Though really, I doubt anyone did, to be honest. It's all thanks to you, isn't it, Seishiro? What are you talking about, Eugen? Ha 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 ha! You silly man. Of course, Judge Jigoku. He must complete the set. He's the other man who 16 years ago came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikitoba. Okay. Cool beans. He's the third visiting scholar. I like how he's being incorporated as like a character, not just like the judge, you know? Well, all those passport trucks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say, I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? Ah, I knew you were jealous. Ah ha 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 ha! You're jealous of my beard. Sorry? Ministerial status? Yes, didn't you know? Seishiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here at his study tour. Oh, I have him to thank. Guilty as charged! Ah ha ha ha! Yeah, this won't get old. Oh, well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks. Oh yes, no, Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday. Oh, you did? It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved with 8 days ago. Which one is that? Okay, so the professor thing. Okay, so I guess this is 8 days later. About what happened 10 years ago. That tragedy. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history? No, not that one. Yes, could you tell us more about it? But first, let's look around this gorgeous hotel. If it lets me. It might not let me yet. Look at that, it's a picture of the Crystal Tower. Well, the Great Exhibition is one of Britain's most prestigious achievements in recent years. I wonder how tall it is. It really does represent the pinnacle of scientific achievement in so many ways. There's a 20-meter tall chimney on the bathhouse near my lodgings at Yume University. It's pretty tall, right? The attendant there is always boasting that it's the tallest object in the neighborhood. That's nice. I'm sure. Did you know that over the channel in Paris there's a tower that's 300 meters tall? What? How many times taller than the chimney at Yume Soken Hot Springs is that? And if it's that tall, how does it draw properly? The smoke will get stuck, surely. Calm down, Ryunosuke. I don't think it's that sort of tower, Mr. Naruhodo. Suzo is fed up with your crap. Okay. What else we got over here? Look at these guys. Being all fancy. That desk is known as the hotel reception. Anyone wanting to spend the night has to report there to sign in for their stay. Oh. So do you think that's the head clerk behind the desk there? Maybe. Yes, I'm sure it must be. I'd love to stay in a grand hotel like this for a little while, wouldn't you? Just to know what it's like. Just to know how the upper class live. If the hotel fee was paid through our stipend, I'm afraid it might bankrupt our homeland. True. London gives the word expensive a whole new meaning. You can dream, Ryunosuke, you can dream. Ooh, look at this fancy chandelier up here. Have you seen all those sparkling jewels up there? They must have gathered every gem in the world for that. Ah, flip. It's called a chandelier, I believe. It's designed to provide elegant lighting in large, spacious rooms like this. Pretty. So they have to gather every gem in the world just to illuminate one room? Pathetic. It's probably electric light bulbs that are actually throwing the light. Ah. If I tried to hang something like that from the ceiling in the office, it would be scraping on the floor. That's how low your ceiling is. I think perhaps chandeliers aren't for you, Mr. Naruhodo. Give it a rest. I love how enamored Ryunosuke is with this place. I would be. I love staying in fancy places. Not that I do that often. Not necessarily staying in fancy places, just being in fancy places. Okay, let's go this way. Here's some luggage. Look at those cases just left there on that trolley. Aren't they worried about thieves? I know I am. Haven't you seen the porter over there? Don't worry, he's obviously keeping an eye on everything. I think he's taking a nap, actually. Ah, so it's a trap designed to catch any chancers who might be tempted. Wait, you look familiar. Were you a witness? Why did the porter give me such a scathing look just now, do you suppose? Well, some might say you look a little suspicious with your jet black clothes. Not everyone clad in black is some sort of ninja with intent to steal, you know. But what about Organization 13? They all wear black. Can't argue with that. Okay, I think that's everything. Let's get back to these two gentlemen that have just been waiting patiently for us. Now, have either of you fine gentlemen seen my armband before? Professor Mikatova, I wonder, could I show you something? Why do you seem so nervous? I suppose because I'm a student showing something to a professor. That's always quite nerve-wracking. Well, I'm sorry I perturb you in that way, but anyway, I'm afraid I have nothing useful to say about that, really. Okay, well thank you for that. Let us converse. Let's start with this. Your journey from Japan. So, how was the voyage here? Well, 50 days at sea is a long time by anyone's standards. But it wasn't as bad as when we first came 16 years ago. No, that's true. Then I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time we followed the same route as you, so we will be able to relax and enjoy the experience. Ah, so you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris? Hey, did we do that? If we did, we skipped over that part. We did, yes, though only for one night. And yesterday evening we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover. Just in time for the symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow. Ooh. It's wonderful that we were invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father. Father. It's thanks to Seishiro here. 16 years ago, he managed to ingratiate himself with Britain's Attorney General. I'm sure that's why he was invited. And I suppose you could say I'm something of an appendage by default. Speak for yourself, Eugen. You were close friends with the Professor of Forensic Science at a major hospital. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really. No, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back. Kazuma's father, I suppose. Yep, speaking of, let's talk about him now. The Professor, the killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy, was actually Kazuma's father, wasn't he? That's correct. Genshin Asagi. Genshin Impact. My favorite JRPG. Genshin. You knew, I presume, Father? No. Yes, he was a close friend at the time. Wow, okay. Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. I've never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth, and he was executed with little ado. Little ado about nothing. Ah! To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in our homeland. What about Kazuma? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father? No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. However, I suspect he may have had his doubts. Maybe he was investigating it. Oh, why? As you know, I tried to guide Kazuma growing up as if he were my own son. Then one day he came to my office at the university and said, I've decided I want to travel to Great Britain and study there. Ah, do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death? Ah, I don't know. It makes sense. But when I looked into his eyes, I did know that there was no way I'd be able to stop him. Something else came to light in that trial the other day, actually. Oh? What? Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Cosmo since turned up here in London, working as the apprentice of Lord Van Zykes. What? What? That's news to us! Are they surprised he's alive, or that he's here? So... Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part, then. Cosmo's reappearance. I don't know which part of that they're surprised about specifically. As you know, we both thought Cosmo had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January. But he didn't die. He's alive. As you knew, didn't you, Father? Okay, so I guess they knew that part? In actual fact, no. What I did know... Oh, you didn't know? Is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try to ascertain what had happened, but to no avail. Was he still alive? And here in London, you say? I never dared even to dream it. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now. It seems like the judiciary and Lord Strongheart have been hiding his involvement. Yeah, it's fascinating. I can't even begin to imagine what he's up to or what this is all about. Well, it seems that he was suffering from amnesia. Was he, though? What amnesia? What if he wasn't? When we first came across him again here in London, he didn't know who either of us were. I see. He only regained his memory 8 days ago. This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently. Yeah, Strongheart I think is up to something. Wonder how Cosmo's been these past few days. Would it be wrong for us to go and visit him? Do we know where he lives? Is he still hanging with Van Zykes? Your time in Britain. That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory, really. It was Eugen here, Genshin, Asogi, and myself. We were the original three. The first traditional scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were not what they are today. I can tell you. 16 years ago. Things were tough for their generation. Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yuma University at the time. You know, young lady. I didn't ask, but okay. Yes, grandmother told me. He went to do research at a great London hospital to study autopsy. Practically unheard of in Japan. Yes, it was an eerie place sandwiched between the back of a prison and a burial ground. Ugh. No more talk of graves, please. I've had my fill. Very often there's no willing to deal with the bodies following autopsy work. So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons. Not my cup of tea at all. Do you remember that Scottish prison governor? Caden, his name was? He was a good man. No? Are you talking to me or the judge? Yes, but then of course in our 6th year here, everything changed with that dreadful case. When Genshin was arrested for a series of the most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known the man for years. I was a witness at the secret hearing and I tried to speak in his defense, but you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Oh, really? Well, suffice to say that after the trial, we were sent back to Japan. I don't know what he did. There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin Impact. He was a lost cause, sadly. I wonder if there's a chance he's innocent. Well, if you'll excuse us now, we have better places to be. Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up to my room as soon as possible. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have held you up here for so long. I'll call for the porter then. Just wait here. Caesar-san's gone off at a run. I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow. Yes, of course. It must be a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck. Don't tell me what to do. Naruhodo, I hope you'll keep an eye on Suzuto for me. Keep looking after her as you obviously have been. Death flags! Oh no, I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me. Well, I do appreciate you being here for her, after all. I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down. Sorry? What do you mean? Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Suzuto was born. Oh, that's right. Yes, I heard. He had to, leave her. The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly, it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too. Oh, yes. Suzuto-san hinted at something like that. Did their mother die? Or his wife? It was a rather turbulent time at home. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. The point is, I became rather less dependable than befits a grown man. And it was then that Seisho offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind. So perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when I came to persuading you to accompany me to London. So, that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. Though the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say. I completely understand, Professor. Even if you are being cryptic as hell. Ah, one other thing, Naruhodo. What is it, mister? If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you. Oh, really? Of course, what can I do for you? Sir? Well, the thing is, I'm so sorry that took so long. Why are you interrupting him? It's Suzuto. Now then, allow us to take your bags. Allow me to take your bags. Yes, I'm pretty sure this was one of the witnesses. One moment, if you please, Porter. Of course, sir. That machine around your neck. It's a camera, I believe. One of those newfangled inventions. Quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir. Well, I think given the occasion, we could justify the expense. Oh, yes, of course. Look at us. How cute. I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruhodo. It's really made Father very happy, I think. Oh, well, I'm pleased then. But we were interrupted before. Professor Mikotomo was about to ask me something. Don't worry. I'll have plenty of time to ask you later. Assuming I'm not dead. I don't know, I just have a feeling. I have a bad feeling. Shall we return to Baker Street then? We even just took a picture together. I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us. Yes, let's go. I wonder if the Reaper of the Valley, the Reaper of the Bailey will end up being maybe a murderer. I mean, he already is a murderer, but I mean, a murderer to one of these cases. So it'll involve us, finding out who the Reaper of the Bailey is at the same time. I'm getting more and more anxious about Kazuma, though. Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask after him. I'm sure that'll go very well. Okay, we looked at everything here, right? Nothing to see here. Okay, so we're going to Strongheart's now, or he said later. New location. Okay. We can go back. Okay, so we can go to the Lord Chief Justice's office. That's where we're supposed to go. But I kinda Want to visit Sholmes' place? 1st of November, Sholmes' suite. What the heck? Wee! Wah, wah! What was that? A man screaming in a most unflattering way. Are we about to witness a murder? Do you think... Could it have been Mr. Sholmes? Oh my, I do hope not. What the heck? Who are you? Wah! I don't do it anymore. Mon ami. Stop this disgraceful display, huh? Who are these people? Look at their hair, it's bright red. You must be a Weasley. I think... Actually, this is Britain, right? the Weasley descendants. I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes. I didn't know he had clients, or knew anybody else but us. What, you two? You're coming with me now, down to the clink. Gina, my girl. No, not in prison. Is that a girl? It is a dark and damp, and I don't like it. Eh? For the darkness, it is my friend. I am not scared. Where in French, or whatever language I'm speaking. But you were always scared of the dark. Shut your mouth, you idiot. I will sit quietly in the dark and plan our next daring heist. Where? I don't like this. I don't like it. Eh? Well, tough. We'll finish it down the yard. Now get moving. Where? Okay. What the heck is going on? Bye then, Ginny. Have fun. Oh yeah. Thanks, Iris. And thanks, you great detective. We'll be off then. I don't know what's going on. Gina makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Sure. Oh, Susie and Runo. Hello, Iris. We're home. Well, did you find your daddy? Yes, we arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Oh, well that's great news. I hope I'll get to see my daddy again soon. Yes, of course. Did we not tell her? I keep forgetting. Dr. John H. Wilson. Okay. So, Iris, all that remains now is that greatest of problems known to man. That's gotta be Sholmes. But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea is in order. Don't you, my dear fellows? Okay, wait, his hair. Is that part of the costume, or... I don't know. Are you Weasley too, Mr. Sholmes? Does everybody have green, red hair? Okay, we are looking at him funny, so maybe he did dye his hair. Is something wrong, Mr. Neverhodo? Do I have a crumb of stuff like on my face? Aha! Not so much on your face, just on your head. Yeah, as on your head, I'd say. Come along then, everyone. I've brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea. Time for a spot of tea. Whatever's going on here today. I don't know. We haven't even started any case and it's already getting weird. In that case, let us sit and drink now. For I am, in fact, expecting a guest later today. Cool beans. But first, would you like to see my armband? Mr. Sholmes, about this. Tell me, Mr. Neverhodo, is this the first time you've shown me this particular trinket? Sure. Nah. Probably like a dozen. Oh, I don't really remember, to be honest. If my saying that it's a collar for a breed of miniature canine with a particularly long neck were to precipitate a "here we go again" from your lips, we can be sure it was not the first time. That's funny. Deduction, you see, my dear fellow. Deduction. Yeah, he's definitely said that before. Oh, that was funny. Okay. As usual, before I acknowledge your presence, let's examine everything in this room. I do like this fireplace. It's one of the best things I've seen since we arrived in the country, in fact. Although, I do yearn for a Japanese kotatsu. Putting your legs under a warm blanket at the table is so comforting. Do be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Don't mistakenly put your feet into the fire, will you? You suffer terrible burns, you know. I worry sometimes about how Suzuto-san sees me. Sometimes, even when I'm in a new chapter, the dialogue sounds familiar. I feel like we've had a similar conversation, if not that exact conversation. I might honestly cut some of that out. I might cut all that out, because it was literally every single piece I'm pretty sure we heard before. Oh, wait a minute. Was this here the whole time? I did not see this. I assumed everything was exactly the same. The masked Cosmo of War when he was assigned to Lord Van Dyke's as his apprentice. Why is that here? When he cast it aside after the trial the other day. Oh, I just sort of picked it up. We ought to give it back to him, I suppose. But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? And I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me coldly to wear it myself. I can be a superhero. But isn't he your best friend? Okay. Well, I'm glad I saw that. Oh, there's a newspaper too. This looks like last week's edition. What's the article circled in red ink there? It's an advertisement column. It says, to the Red-Headed League. Oh my gosh. The Red-Headed League? What's that? That explains a lot. I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but... Look who it is. Something on my face. Aha. Clearly this has something to do with that. Lively hair. Okay, we found some evidence, even though we're not involved in any case yet. An advertisement from the newspaper that's entitled To the Red-Headed League. It seems somewhat suspicious in nature. Okay, we can present that to Sholmes, I guess. Now let me take a deeper look, make sure there's nothing else important I missed. Yeah, I think we're good here. Okay, let's start by presenting him the Red-Headed League thingy-majigger. It looks as though someone circled an advertisement in this paper, Mr. Sholmes. I should probably look at it more closely. To the Red-Headed League. On account of the bequest of the late Ezekiah Hopkins of Lebanon, Pennsylvania, USA, USA, USA. There is now another vacancy open, which entitles a member of the league to a salary of £4 a week for purely nominal services. All red-headed men who are sound in body and mind and above the age of 21 years are eligible. Apply in person on the morning of the 31st at the large park on Lime Street. Interesting. Get euro or pounds. Get £4 per week if you are a redhead. Finally, the redheads are getting the love they deserve. Or don't deserve, I don't know. To the Red-Headed League. Did that strike you in some way? I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair. Your flaming red hair. You're wrong. I just love Harry Potter. So at last you've learned to apply my methods, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? In the first instance, and quite indispensable, observation. Believe me, I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut. So then, allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits. Regale or boast? Both. I don't know where to start. Let's just go down the list. You had 2 visitors. Mr. Sholmes, who were the 2 gentlemen that were here before? Oh, just a pair of petty criminals. Nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions. They also had the red hair. When the mood takes you, all manner of infractions. But when such fellows set their sights on Mr. Herlock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out. Oh my, you were the target of a crime, Mr. Sholmes. But I showed them what's what. But I quickly devised a plan to entrap them and deliver them to our young detective ally. You should have asked Gregsy to come too. We could have had an arresting tea party. It happened kind of fast, Iris. I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. He was in the middle of lunch, munching away at his fish and chips. The man is consummately in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure. Aha! I have it! A bungler. That's the word. A bungling burglar. It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. So those redheads had been up to no good. Started making trouble in my neighborhood. What are you doing, Weasley? I wonder what the men did. Okay. Let us... since we're on the topic of the redheads, let's talk about the Red-Headed League. So what is the Red-Headed League, which seems to be the subject of the advertisement you've circled? You noticed it in the paper, then? That, my dear fellow, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment. It was? How? According to the advertisement, the Red-Headed League is a distinguishing institution of fellows of unspecified governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair. That doesn't entirely surprise me. But listen to what the lucky redheads receive once they join. An unconditional salary of £4 a week. Oh my, £4 a week? Is that a lot? I have no idea. But why? What are they paying people for? No idea. That I don't know. No details are given in the advertisement. But surely every red-headed person in the country would be flocking to join in that case. You're right, Susie. There's no time to lose. I'll put in my application at once. So will I, just on the off chance. Rinosuke, we're going upstairs. You need to dye my hair. That might be stretching a point, I think. I can't tell. Iris's hair isn't red. It's like pink, right? The trouble is, they have a fixed number of members, you see? Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can. But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away. Aha! Aren't I so lucky? Isn't that wonderful? It wasn't particularly lucky for the redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes. But, screw him. So you decided to try to join in his place? Correct. I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow? No? So why? Why did it have to go so wrong? What happened? What on earth happened? A blunder, Mr. Naruhodo, though it pains me to admit it. Oh wait. What happened to the other thing I wanted to talk about? What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes? I'm glad you asked, Miss Susato. What you see atop my head is neither dye nor a hairpiece. I changed the color of my hair overnight. By the wonders of chemistry. Oh gosh, chemicals? Chemistry? I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves. And in the course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that, when taken, turns one's hair a flame like red. Would you like to try it? It will make every hair on your body perfectly crimson. I think I'll pass. But Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it? Hehehe. Amateurs are always hampered by such fares. Oh, I should never have doubted you, Mr. Sholmes. You mean to say... But of course. To earn 4 points per week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger. Alrighty then, that degree of red sin was more than just a little danger, surely. So anyway, Hurley left full of confidence yesterday with his new red hair. For the park on Lime Street with the Red-Headed League were interviewing prospective new members. How'd it go? So, what went wrong? The whole park was choked with red-headed folk, like a coasted orange barrow. I queued for 8 hours solid before at last I reached the front. Oh gosh, that sounds horrible. I hate waiting in lines for anything. But when the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, "Ah, Mr. Hairlock Sholmes, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation?" Oh gosh, they recognized you immediately. And they know you ain't a redhead. Well, that sucks. So naturally, I had no choice but to reply, "Shh, don't give me away." And they did. After which I could do little else but turn and leave. Then this morning when I looked in the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned that pair into the police. Oh dear, what a disaster for Hurley and those two redheads. Are those the two that were just carted off? The lie you told. Mr. Sholmes, isn't it about time you told us the truth? You lying piece of crap. Just over a week ago you said to us. I will not tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. I was not wearing this outfit in this flashback, but okay. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. I like how we talk about his hair as if that's not the weirdest thing about him right now. That case aboard the SS Buria in January. Cosmo wasn't killed. And you knew he wasn't dead at the time. Exactly, you investigated his body. So what was really going on? The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, the side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew. But how? After they carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse. Interesting. Oh, how horrible. It was necessary to find some material from which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course, but why? Exactly. Why do it in the first place? I will be at liberty to elaborate in due course. We are not far enough in the game yet. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events. What events? His disappearance in Hong Kong. Oh, so that you didn't intend for that. I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment. Mr. Sholmes. And that's that. Mr. Sholmes, you mentioned before that you were expecting a guest today? Indeed, Miss Susato, that is correct. Not none of those red-headed gentlemen that were here before. No, of course not. Not at all, they were petty villains. The guest I am expecting is a client. Oh? A young gentlewoman who wishes to appoint the services of this great detective, no less. Oh, how wonderful, Mr. Sholmes. You're actually getting business. You must stay and observe the fashion in which a great detective receives his customers. Must we? I have you in my clutches now, Rent, just as I have you in my clutches, redheads. Ah ha 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 ha. Anywho. That hearty laugh is masking rather sinister thoughts, I feel. But for now, I'll let it go. You know, the lady isn't due for another hour yet. Don't feel as though you must wait around if you have other things to do. Okay, we probably have to come back then. Is that it? Okay, that's all I have to talk to you about. Let us move on then. Let's go up here. I feel it might be a similar thing where if we examine this room, I feel a lot of the dialogue will be the same. 1st of November, Naruhodo's legal consultancy. Yeah, Susan herself didn't even have any introduction dialogue to talk about. We can just talk to her about what to do. Would you like to look at my armband first, though? I stayed up late to mend that for you the other day, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you. You did a really seamless job. You're very welcome. It's all in a day's work for your judicial assistant. The only thing is, I accidentally dropped it into the Thames yesterday, and now it rather smells, like, really bad. I think this is new. Then take better care of it, please. It was all going so well until I ruined it. That seemed like it was potentially new. Do you have anything to say about this? The Red-Headed League. It's not something we could ever aspire to, is it? But I'm determined to try. Get out the diary, Inosuke. Your hair is completely black, though. Beautiful, but black. Perhaps you know that in our homeland, this color of hair has traditionally been described as green-black. I like it, though. It sounds a lot like a contradiction if you ask me. And I am an expert at pointing out contradictions. So some people clearly see it as green in Japan, even though it's black. Is the dress gold or blue? In which case, I'm full of hope something similar may happen here in Britain. That level of optimism is something I should learn a lesson from. Okay, I guess we'll look around anyway. Anything new to say about the spade-shovel debate? The spade is still here, look. Please, Mr. Naruhodo, it's not a spade. As I think you well know, it's a shovel. I think I got the trophy already for the getting all the shovel-spade conversations. If I'm not mistaken, so... I don't think there'll be new dialogue here. It didn't take long to reignite that old argument. I have an idea. Let's give the implement a name, like Professor Hairbrain named his tools. Oh no, this is new. Oh. I never thought of doing that. From now on then, let's call it Ryunosuke. I like that. No, it's clearly much more of a Suzuto. The old argument has taken a new and unexpected turn, it seems. Oh, there we go. Ace of Spades. Oh, that's right, it was the step ladder we got the trophy for. And that's right, it was Iris's blackboard we got the trophy for. Yay, we did it. I would like to name it Suzuto, if I had a say in it. Whenever you serve me tea, it always takes me back to Japan. I know you're not particularly fond of the bitter taste, are you? So I do always try to pick out less bitter matcha for you. She does often serve up an unusually mellow blend, it's true. But the anticipation of the taste in my mouth makes me bitterly worried anyway. It is very difficult for you, isn't it? Okay? The steam is rising gently from the kettle, as always. Yes, it doesn't feel right somehow, unless it is. But the steam has an unusual scent today. Perhaps the sweet potatoes that I brought back from Japan with me are ready. Gulp. Yummy. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, I heard that, you know. Teehee. Tears of joy, Miss Suzuto. From my mouth. Okay, we got Suzuto's desk. It was empty last time we were here, right? My desk is just as it was before I left. Shumi ink and a calligraphy brush. Even though we're in England now. Hey, I like the traditional Japanese aesthetic. That strikes me as typically you, Miss Suzuto, and typically not you at the same time. Well, I do enjoy all the wonderful new things to come out of the West in the Cultural Revolution, of course. But I'm not ready to give up my brush just yet. And anyway, Suzuto-san can write more neatly with a brush than most people can with a pen. Practice makes perfect, as they say. She seems like she'd have very neat handwriting. Okay, let's examine the fish tank. All the sea life seem very content in here, I must say, when there. I've noticed something recently, actually. The anemones breed at the most extraordinary rate. Oh, really? It's a mystery why the whole seabed isn't buried in a mountain of them, actually. Oh, how splendid! That really is a mystery, isn't it? That's our new case for this chapter. I wish there was someone here to explain Suzuto-san's strange reaction to that. Don't try and make sense of it, Ryunosuke. Instead, let's sneak into her room. Your room across the hall is undisturbed, of course. I don't suppose I'd be permitted to see inside now that you're back, though, would I? Of course not. You know very well that only Iris is allowed inside. Yes, I heard you two giggling together in there again last night. You can visit Mr. Sholmes in his room, Mr. Naruhodo. You're both boys. Last time I did that, he tried to convince me to drink some strange concoction he'd mixed up. And I didn't do it. Before you ask. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, let's head over to... That's not the right... Oh, actually, no, before we go... Oh, wait a minute, hang on. Oh, there's a picture here that I missed. It's a lovely photograph we took together when I had to leave London, though it was a sad day. But I happily have the same photograph on display in my room at home, you know. Yay, we're matching. Now that we're all back together again. It would be nice to take a new photograph. We already took one. Well, not with Kazuma. Oh yes, that would be wonderful! Oh, I want to see it. I want to see it! Was that there the whole time? That was very easy to miss. Okay, I think we're good now. So as I started to say, even though I want to... I don't think I need to. Let's talk to her. It's good news that Professor Mikotoba arrived safely, isn't it? Yes, it's wonderful. And the fact that Father has been invited to this important international convention, or event, really makes me very proud to be his daughter. Your father, Judge Jigoku, us, and Kazuma, of course. There's an ever-increasing number of Japanese here in Britain's capital, isn't there? Well, yes, I suppose so. But London does have a population of 6 million people, so I think we're still a minority. Suzuto's son Father, who came here as a visiting student 16 years ago, and Kazuma. It's almost as if some great power has been at work, drawing them here across the ocean to London. And I feel as though the waters are starting to swell again now. Okay, and with that, let us... I guess we can go straight to Lord Chief Justice's office. Hopefully he's ready and willing to talk to us. Is that Van Zykes? No. Who is that? I feel like we had a similar, we came in here once where he was talking to Dr. Scythe. Now this is someone different. 1st of November, British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. Oh, it is, okay. Here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented your original with the figures you just asked from the yard. I see. Excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord. What's Lord Van Zykes doing here? My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air. Wouldn't you say? This place is stifling enough as it is. Yeah, they do have very eccentric personalities. Well, Strongheart does anyway. Very strong personalities, I should say. We really don't need any more tension. You've been spotted. Hello. My apologies. I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and dark dress make you all but invisible to me. Oh, no, it's entirely my fault for wearing black, I'm sure. From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here. Sorry, I don't have that option in my wardrobe. Now then, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord? I'm right here. Oh, yes. Ugh, kill me now. If you say so. Is something wrong? Perhaps a little too hot in here for you? Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room at such a perfect temperature. If you're sure, the beads of sweat carving their way down your face seem to suggest otherwise. These are the daggers you're staring at me with, mainly. As you're no doubt aware, my internal forensic science symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today. I hear, madam? Word travels fast. Oh yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited. We're all kissing his ass. I'll leave the remaining preparation for the meeting room in your capable hands, then, Lord Van Zykes. I will attend at once. Bye. He gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he? I know. But I haven't done anything, have I? He's back to hating my guts. These past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. I have mastered the power of flight. My dedicated right hand for many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion. Oh yeah, my bad. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still at service? Is he talking about, Scythe or somebody else? Yeah, Mr. Naruhodo, he's talking about the Scythe, you dum-dum. Ah, of course. He's talking figuratively. I'm terribly sorry about that. I was just, Fear not, you've done nothing wrong. Dr. Scythe's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with it any further. That would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me. I don't blame you at all. Stare. Lord Van Zykes is doing an admirable job of holding the fort. Though disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday. About that. Oh, missing? I mean, it makes sense. What's become of Cosmo-sama now? Okay, once again though, let's examine the room. I think that's everything. Yeah, that was, once again, everything in this room seemed like repeats, so I might be able to cut that out. But what I won't cut out is presenting him my armband. Could I show you this, Lord Strongheart? I don't have time for this. I'm an important man. I'm the Lord Chief Justice. I'm not here to offer advice about evidence. It's not evidence. Oh. Especially when the evidence in question is so dull. Aha! So that's the real reason. What about this? No, I guess he did just say he's not looking at any evidence. Okay, let's just talk to him about stuff. So we might just talk to him, finish up this room, this area, and then we might call it a day. As in end the episode. Talk about the symposium. Not long ago, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million. 30 million? That's a lot. Are there even that many people in the world? As a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population of the imperial capital Tokyo is 2 million. I will be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making. 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries. It sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations. The 20th century will see the wholesome adaptation of forensic science techniques. I do like how we're getting, I like how science and technology is advancing as we move through these games. And cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential. Which is why this landmark's first symposium had to be hosted here, at the heart of our great British Empire. In order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World. He's the same as ever, I see. Charismatic as all hell. That passion of his is quite something. You're every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Mr. Naruhodo. Like how you slam your desk whenever you make an objection. And how you point your finger. I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about a future that embraces forensic science. And Sholmes. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. So the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. Okay, let's talk about that. I first established the forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with. With Dr. Scythe at the helm, it was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievement. I was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department. And can you not do that now? Obviously, nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Yeah, with all the controversy. Even I can't keep the story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I'd say. That's a big deal. Unintended repercussions of our trial. We simply couldn't have overlooked what had happened, though. Yeah, we did what we had to do. Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way. A man of ambition. I like it. Now let's talk about the missing apprentice, also known as Kazuma. About Lord Van Zykes' apprentice. Oh yes, that came as a surprise to me, I must say. That you and he are old friends. Is it though? How did he become an apprentice to Lord Van Zykes in the first place? It came about 3 months ago. an unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel. Oh. Is that the Buria? So he stowed away to get here. He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact that he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Sykes, that way I could keep an eye on him. That doesn't make a lot of sense. This random guy who has amnesia, I'm just gonna make him a prosecutor's apprentice. But then, why the mask? I thought it looked cool. I didn't want to burden Lord Van Sykes with tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern apprentice. Because it would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask? Exactly. He's proven to be a great help to Lord Van Sykes. I have high hope for his future. By the way, do you know where he's gone? No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being. Really? Oh, I'm sure we'll see him again. I take it you also don't know? Didn't know? That the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean. Well, we know now. Genshin Asagi. Okay, let's talk about him. What we learned from that trial 8 days ago was a huge shock. Finding out my friend's father was... Oh yes, Genshin Asagi. The professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain. There were such awful murders, and unprecedented. Using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon. Poor doggy. And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. I feel so long ago, that case. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, and can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London. The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our two nations at the time, I understand. Yeah, because he was a Japanese serial killer in England. Correct, however. It has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause. What? Supporters of a mass murderer? Have you ever heard what his motive was? Like what he was a serial killer of? Like who he was killing? The majority of the man's victims were a blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Okay, so if he is also a killer of justice, like if he also killed criminals, it just makes more sense that Cosmo might be the Bailey the Reaper, taking after his father. Or so a few fat thinkers in London believed anyway. Right, I see. But it was still murder, wasn't it? It seemed very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey. My thoughts exactly, Suzuto. We're on the same page here. Oh, that's it? I guess? I showed you all that. And make sure I didn't miss anything. Kind of like there was some new items in Sholmes' place. Let me make sure there's nothing here I'm missing. No, I don't think so. Okay, well, if I am missing something, we'll be back. But I think we're gonna end the episode here for now. Pretty cool start to the case. A lot of stuff I'm not getting yet, but we haven't actually gotten into a case yet. I called it a case, but I guess I should say an interesting start to the chapter, because the case hasn't popped up yet. I'm still concerned that Mikatova could maybe end up dead. Maybe Judge, what's his name, Jigoku? Maybe him? Maybe both? I don't know. He was just raising some death flight before. We also all took a picture together. So who knows? If that doesn't happen now, it could happen in the very last chapter. But yeah, there's this whole red-headed thing. I'm sure it wasn't just brought up out of nowhere. I'm sure that's going to be important. Just don't know how yet. And yeah, we're just kind of getting more information about what's going on. But I think we might have to go back to Sholmes's place now, because we said we'd go back. So we're gonna meet. Sholmes is meeting with a client, a woman. So we're gonna probably meet her next time, and we'll see what that's all about. We'll see what part she plays in all this. I'm sure she'll be important. We also met again the two thieves. So again, they had the red hair, so I'm sure they were also trying to get into the Red-Headed League. So we'll see what part they play as well. The porter, I think, was also one of the one of the jurors we've had before. So a lot of interesting characters already being introduced. But we'll find out what they all have to do with this next time. So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching as always. We're starting to get close to the end of the game. I'm really enjoying it. I really am. I love the Ace Attorney games, and this has been great so far, and I'm excited to see how all these threads connect. But if you have enjoyed the video as much as I'm enjoying the game, hit that like button and the notification bell so you know when more videos go up. Subscribe to the channel, and of course share the video and the channel with your friends, family, and loved ones. I appreciate you guys as always, and I'll see you next time. So take care, and bye-bye.